Peace. This is Bastard Brown. Bastard Brown. Milk in the mind. Milk in the mind. Live in the bad. Live in the bad. Speak in the red. Speak in the red. Let's build the cycle. The cycle.
Peace. Peace. Peace to all human families of the planet Earth. Peace to the lost 5% nation. This is Master Brown Seed, your host, and you are now entering Build the Cipher, right? This is to be in the month of September. This is the born month. It's a great month because in this month is my degree day. My degree day is on the born day. So that's born. You know what I'm saying? The month is born, and I was born on the 9th day, which is born. So this is a supreme month to me. Save equality, power, truth, equality, master, be equality's ruler, right? September. And that's peace. You know what I'm saying? We on episode 34. What is the just and true God, right? The just and true God is not a mystery God in the sky, right? The just and true God has no unrighteousness in him. He is the living expression of truth, balance, and justice within the original man, right? This build that we're going to go through examines what it means to live as a just and true God in word, action, and culture, right? Let's begin. Segment 1 is called The Science of the Just and True God, right? God equals force and power of life, not a mystery, right? Just is meaning standing on justice, fairness, and balance, right? True, operating in knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, living proof of his divine purpose on earth, right? Not waiting on something outside of himself. This is the signs of being a trusted true God, right? Because we all know God is nothing but force and power. We say God means good, orderly direction. God over devil, right? So if we're dealing with God over devil, that must mean that we must rise above all that lives in devilishment. Because like I said, a just and true God has no unrighteousness in him. He is seen and heard everywhere, for he is the all-seeing, right? So when you say that you're God, you're not saying that you're somebody else's God. You're saying you're God of yourself and of your universe, right? The universe just means sun, moon, stars, man, woman, child, right? So that's the signs of a just and true God, you know? The evidence of God in man, right? You have creation, innovation, civilization, and man as a builder and a maker, right? It tells us who is the original man, the maker and owner, right? So to be a maker and owner, you have to know how to build and add on, to construct. That's the build, to construct. And when you construct something, it's going through what? A process of construction. It's the process of you building and adding on to the levels of your life, right? Also, the evidence of God in man is consciousness and intelligence, the ability to think, reason, create, and reflect is seen as divine evidence. Unlike other creatures, man can question his own existence, right? He can contemplate infinitely and seek meaning, right? Many view this as the higher consciousness, as the spark of God, right? You know, it took a spark. That's why it said, in the beginning was the Word. That Word was the spark. That was the breath of life. That was bringing everything into its fruition of existence, right? Another evidence is creative power, right? Man has creative power, right? Man can imagine something and bring it into reality. That's the power of thought. To take something in your mind and bring it to reality. That is the Word becoming life. That is the Word becoming flesh, right? Bringing it into existence, making it concrete, going through gases, liquids, and then solidifying, making it a solid form into existence. Borning it alive is what we said. Bringing it into existence. Born means to bring into existence, right? Mathematics and order, right? The mind of man can grasp universal laws, man. Mathematics, science, rhythm, patterns. These is all things that man can create and deal with it, see, and manifest. We deal with mathematics because mathematics is a universal law. We say our supreme mathematics and our supreme alphabets are the keys, right? So if they're the keys, that's what we look at them. Supreme keys that unlock these lessons and also unlocks the door to reality, to our universe, right? Resilience and will, right? The power of will, right? And that servant which do his Lord's will, not did according to his will, shall be beaten with many stripes. We all have a will that we can do anything we want with the power of our mind, right? We can create, we can do a lot of things, man. We make things happen by just the thought and manifesting it into the realization of the world. What other form of living matter can do that what we do? We bring things into existence. Mentally as well as physically, right? That's the power of will. That's the power of God in man. Because man is God and God is man. Even Elijah Muhammad told you. God can be nothing else but a man. What does a spirit want in a material world? What can a spirit do in a materialistic world? It has no need in a materialistic world. Man is what creates this materialistic world to be by building and adding on to civilization. When you build and add on, you bring forth things into life. Children, buildings. Everything you see here was created by man. Because man is a creator of thought into existence as we speak, right? Segment 3. God versus devil's energy, right? There's all type of energy in the world. Energy in motion. That's emotions. It's energy in motion. It all depends on how you put your energy in motion, right? The devil is weak and wicked, while God is strong and righteous. The devil thrives on lies, while God thrives on the truth, right? Identifying devilishment helps sharpen the God within. When you know what devilishment is, then you know how to thrive above it. You know what I'm saying? Q-Tip said, I am supreme to the devil. I'm on a level that's supreme to the devil. That's a Q-Tip line, you heard? I'm on a level that's supreme to the devil. I'm higher. I'm a higher consciousness. I'm on a higher plane. I'm like Inspector Deck. I'm above the clouds, bro. I don't get caught up in the clouds of deception. I'm above the clouds of deception, looking down at man caught up in the Isle of Patmos. Because that's where the people are at the most, in Patmos. Where the devil is being manufactured at. So you have to stay on a higher conscience. That's why we say every man will be God. Because every man is not going to reach their highest consciousness of their self. That's why we say 7 is Allah God and not just God. Because God is man. And any man can be God. It's just the title that they give themselves, as I always say. Allah is the God. And there's only one God, not many gods. One God. And we are all that part of that one mind of who God is. Allah is the God, always has been and always will be. Right? Segment 4, living as the just and true God. Living. You got to live this. That's what they say, culture is a way of life. You have to live this. Sometimes you have to go out there in the jungles to save a life. Go out there into the valley of the beast, the valley of darkness, and fear no evil. While you speak to that righteousness, while you dropping that truth, you around people who got a mindset of evilness, who's still caught up in the 85% mind when you speak in this righteousness. So you have to make sure that you are cloaked around your brothers around you. That's why Allah told us to keep a black, a brown, and a yellow around us. Keep other eyes around you while you're building on this righteousness. Because you never know what type of forces are around you while you're speaking the truth. The devil don't want you to spread the word. He want to keep people blind, deaf, and dumb to themselves. So they'll try to stop you at any time they can. That's why they got laws now. You can't congregate 3 as a crowd because they don't want the truth being spread. They want to see us fight and kill one another, like the decrees say. Come amongst the righteous and cause us to fight and kill one another. That's not the signs of a true and living, just and true God, brother. That's not balance, fairness, and wanting for your brother and your sister what you want for yourself, right? When you build with righteousness, you destroy the falsehood, right? You use your knowledge in planning, you use your wisdom in action, and your understanding in execution, right? Because understand to see these clinics, you can execute that plan that you have. Once you plan something, it has to be executed, it has to be put into action. Being a just and true God has to know how to balance the scale of justice. And no, justice is not a blind woman. Justice is what it is. Balance. Being fair. Having equality. Dealing equal with all things in life. You have to have your eyes open to see justice. You can't be blind to know what justice is. We're not dealing with the court of law. That's the devil's law, that justice is a woman. They use our women all the time to put a black man in jail. So why would justice beat our women? Justice is a reward or penalty for one's acts or deeds, right? Think about that. Again, justice is not revenge. It's balance, truth, and equality that's lived out. That's what being a just and true God is. Knowing when to execute your power as you see fit. Knowing when to give out that understanding knowledge bill, that 318, that service do his Lord's will. 318, Lord, when to give that out, man, because if a civilized person performs his duties, what must be done? You have to teach this. Let people see it. Let them know. Knowing is just half the battle, you know what I mean? As we move on, let's go on to our daily affirmations. Every episode is affirmations for you, know what I mean? And I want y'all to affirm this right here, right? I am the just and true God, living proof of truth and righteousness. Number one, I am the just and true God, living proof of truth and righteousness. Number two, my knowledge and wisdom manifests as power and justice. Second affirmation, my knowledge and wisdom manifests as power and justice. Third affirmation, I walk in equality, balance, and fairness with all. Once again, the third affirmation, I walk in equality, balance, and fairness with all, right? The fourth one, the last affirmation, I destroy falsehood by shining the light of truth. Number four, I destroy falsehood by shining the light of truth. Those are today's affirmations. Like always, I tell you, use them in your daily life. Manifest these to yourself. And always be grateful in life. Now, as we get to the end and we start to close this build, as always, I want you to hit that like button, share, subscribe, right? Peace. The just and true God is not a mystery, as I said at the beginning. He's not a mystery. It is the living reality of the original man, being God of his universe, the all-seeing, standing firm on truth, balance, and justice. To live as the just and true God is to not have no unrighteousness in you, God. You can't be telling me you're just and true God and you live it unrighteously. Because God is righteousness. To be civilized is to be righteousness. That has the knowledge of yourself, civilization, righteousness, the knowledge of yourself, and not be a savage in pursuit of happiness. God is not a savage. God is not these things. I told you, God over devil. Good, orderly direction. That's who God is, right? You have to know, being God is keeping your word, right? You have to keep your word and bring balance to self and society, right? Walk in your divine consciousness, not tomorrow, not later, but right now. Like we say, now is the time to build. Now, nation or end. Either you're going to build or you're going to destroy and the civilization will end. Right? As always, I'll be your host, Master Brown Seed, and you are in Building the Cipher. Peace.